What's up, guys? I'm still getting a few things set up here. Let me, hold on just one second. Let me go back to this. What's going on, everyone? How is it going? I am still trying to set up some stuff, and obviously we just started, so we're going to try to give some time for people to join. But once again, as I get started, if audio or anything sounds weird, please let me know in the chat. Let's see. I've got it pulled up right here on the side as well. Let me read some of the chats coming in. Hippie Jeep, your live is now my favorite. Thank you, Hippie. What's up, Aaron and fellow Mulling family? How's it going? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, happy Tuesday to everybody. Good evening, Geneva, Barbara. Thank you. Hello. Let's talk about cadaver dogs. Sounds like a good plan. Yes. For those of you who haven't seen my newest video, I'm going to be playing it in this stream. I figured, obviously, some of you may have already seen it, so it'll be kind of a rewatch for those who have. But I'm going to go over a couple of the kind of new things that have developed in the last 24, 48 hours. And then, of course, I'll play that video. We can react to that live and then talk about the video afterwards. And then we can jump into some other talking points as it relates to the cadaver dogs. So, like I said, gonna wait, see if we can get some more people in here, give some people a chance to join. I'm gonna keep reading the chat. Hello from England. Hello, England. Hello, Angela. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Kathy in Ohio. Hello, Paula, Vivian, Deem, Christian, Patty. No comment. Hi, Aaron. Tatiana here as usual. Oh, yes, of course. Tatiana. Hello. Greetings from Boca Raton, Florida. Hello, Ada. Hello, USCG mom. Hello. Thanks. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Leanne, Hippie Jeep, Molly, Self. I think I'm getting through everyone. Hello from Georgia, Texas, Portugal. Wow, now we're getting all the we're getting where everyone's from. We're getting some overseas. Kentucky, Southern Illinois, Scotland, UK. Hello from Baltimore. Hello, Baltimore. New York City, NYC. Pennsylvania. Let's get the likes going strong. Thank you, Vivian. Yeah, let's get those likes up. We got over 100 people in here. Let's get 100 likes before we get into it. But I'm enjoying seeing Volpa. Hello, supermodel Aaron. Hello, Volpa. I don't know if I'm going to respond to that as supermodel Aaron, but worse things to be called, I guess. Nebraska, Maryland, Brooklyn, New York. Saskatchewan, Canada. Nice. Washington, San Fran, Brooklyn. What's up, Brooklyn? Puerto Rico. Wow. Okay, I could sit here and read all day where you guys are from, but we've got a show to start. We got to get the show on the road, and we're all in the same car today, driving on this metaphorical road. And as you guys can see from the title, we are going to go through the cadaver dog situation. So obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video I put out earlier today talks about, you know, one of the bigger trending topics around Brian Laundrie and his discovery, and that's kind of people talking about cadaver dogs and how, you know, how did they not find Brian? How did they not, you know, we'll get to this video in a second, but how did they not find him, right? And my video today kind of shows just how close they actually got on August 14th, when Sky Fox from Fox 13 in Tampa was flying over the reserve. And it's pretty interesting. So we'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to play that video, obviously. Let me know if my mic's too loud. I turned it up. I had a lot of comments letting me know that my mic has been too soft. But I'm seeing on my levels meter that it's showing like it's peaking. So hopefully it's not peaking too well. I look like your son. Very cool. I think I've seen you in here before, Siegel. Good to see you. So before we get into the cadaver dog stuff, let's just go through and kind of react to some of the videos that I've compiled here as it relates to some of the recent stories, right? So we all know that Brian has been mistaken for his mom, or his mom. The police mistook Brian's mom for him. I keep getting that mixed up. So let's just listen to this video here, and then we'll keep it moving. But thanks to the almost 200 people that are in here, let's react to this video.
Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor says officers thought they observed Brian Laundrie return home Wednesday the 15th in the Mustang, but it was actually his mother, Roberta Laundrie, wearing a baseball cap, with Taylor adding, they're kind of built similarly. We requested the official missing person report for Brian Laundrie. Citing the ongoing investigation, Northport Police redacted everything except for the date, time, and address. So will anyone at the Northport Police Department be held accountable for this mistake? So far, I've gotten no response to my emails and phone calls, but I plan to stay on it. Live in the Tampa newsroom, I'm Justin Shecker.
Thanks, Justin. So what do you guys think of that? Let me know. Do you think that's like is that a common thing, you think, to just completely overlook, you know, it's a completely different gender. Like, this is his mom we're talking about, and I know that she doesn't have like a lot of features that really like make it completely known that she doesn't look like him. I don't know of a better way of saying that, but it's kind of odd that they got that mixed up. But the Northport Police tweeted this out on September 17th. The Northport Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigations are currently searching for 23-year-old Brian Laundrie of Northport. The attorney for the Brian Laundrie family called FBI investigators Friday night, indicating the family would like to talk about the disappearance of their son. The family now claims they have not seen Brian since Tuesday of this week. So that's where the whole thing comes into play. I think the Northport police ended up going back on what they said and said, you know, we never actually saw him return in the Mustang, and it was actually Roberta that returned in the Mustang. And I think I'll get into that in a second. I think there's another video here, so let's watch that. She dresses the same way, so does he. This is a joke. What's going on? There's another stream with 17 people in your channel. Hold on. Before I play this, let me make sure there's not another stream going, guys. Real quick. Okay. I don't think that that's the case. I appreciate you letting me know, though, just in case. Oh, it does look like there's one that was set for upcoming. So let's go ahead and delete that. I accidentally maybe made an upcoming stream. So thank you for letting me know. I had no idea. All good, all good. Let's play this video. Oh, thank you. Thank you. There is. I appreciate that.
The Laundries from the front and the back, and it was streaming. There's just so many questions I have with regard to that, but I'm just going to let you take that and run with it, Brian.
Yeah, so we discovered pretty early on, actually, that they had these hidden cameras around the Laundrie house. I would say a week into us being in Northport, so like 5 weeks ago, I was talking to neighbors every day. They told me about the cameras. There was one behind the house that I think you have video of that was in a neighbor's backyard, pointed at the back of the Laundrie's house. There was another one in front of the house, actually hidden in someone's dumpster. It was kind of an interesting side note. When I first discovered one of the cameras, like I was getting up real close and looking at it, and they were live streaming them back to the police station. Almost immediately, the neighbor comes running out with the police on the phone saying, like, they see you, like they're telling you got to get out of the yard. So of course we did the right thing. We didn't tell anyone about these cameras until it was confirmed on Friday that Brian Laundrie was dead, and then we went public with the camera situation. Some of the cameras, Ashley, we're told were put up before they believed that Brian Laundrie went missing, which is a whole nother story. And then there were some that were put up, like the one in the backyard, after the police said that they no longer knew where Brian Laundrie was.
Well, let's start with the one that's in the front yard that would have been trained on the silver Mustang, because that neighbor said it went up on the 12th, and Brian didn't leave, according to everybody now, until the 13th. So this live stream of that silver Mustang backing out with Brian in it, taking him to the reserve where he would die, was being live streamed, if the neighbor is telling us the right facts and dates. So I just want to play this soundbite, if I can, because you put that to Josh Taylor. You know, you're much more articulate about it than I'm just mad about it. I'm mad that that was just missed. But here's your question and his answer about that moment. Take a look.
Our intention was to keep an eye on Brian, and clearly him going out there,
Yikes.
we missed him going out there.
So he left in the Mustang and no one knew that he left in the Mustang?
That's correct.
I mean, isn't it, we've been outside the house. I mean, was there just no one sitting outside the house watching? I mean, did someone like fall asleep?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you, it's not like he snuck out the back if he left out in the front in the Mustang.
Well, again, he wasn't wanted. There's certain things you can do with surveillance and intelligence when you're at a certain point in an investigation, when there's certain charges, where there's these types of things. You know, it just, we weren't there at that point in the case.
So that's all I'm going to play of that video. But what do you guys think of that? That's a bit strange to me. I mean, you know, they also mentioned the security camera footage, so that's pretty new information to me as well. I had no idea they were playing or they had security camera footage potentially of him leaving. They said that they had some of these cameras potentially planted before Brian was even considered missing. So we're talking like way back in early September, or like right at the kind of beginning of September. But like, let's look at this again. If they actually were mounting cameras, then that's interesting. You know, I think that there's just going to be so many things that come out over the next several weeks, because if they can actually show what some of these cameras captured, you know, who knows what kind of information we could piece together. That entire department needs retraining, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Chris Davis, closed captioning. I should be able to turn that on. I'm so sorry. I thought I had that on. I'm trying to troubleshoot here at the same time. Sorry, guys. I think that's why I accidentally went live twice. Let me just give me one moment. And in fact, chat disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you. Wow, wonderful. There's all sorts of technical issues tonight, guys. Bear with me here. All right, I'm going to go to my YouTube studio. And then we'll try to get the chat going, or the captions going. All right, come on. Someone says, I think I heard the 11th. I love these lives. Thank you, Aaron. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Not entirely sure. All right. Well, I thought I would be able to set that up. I'm going to work on the captioning. it was on. I'll work on the captioning and see if I can't get that squared away. Thank you guys for 200 likes. We almost have 500 people in the live stream. That is super, super cool. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, so I feel like we've hit 500 people. I think I'm going to play the video from earlier. So for the people who have already seen it, my apologies. But there's probably some people here that are new that haven't seen the video from earlier. So I'm going to play that really quick. Let me pull it up here, and then we will continue on. So, all right. Too much of my voice. All right, here we go. Here we go. You're going to see two of me here. Full screen. No, that should be good. All right. I'm going to play this video real quick, and then we will be back shortly and react. What's going on YouTube? Aaron here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over what has grown to be a really controversial topic when it comes to the search and eventually the discovery of Brian Laundrie's remains. And so that is cadaver dogs. This footage has been sent to me by many of you. I appreciate it. A lot of people have been asking me, where were they searching in this video specifically, because I know the cadaver dogs had been out at different times, but this video was taken on October 14th. This is streamed by Fox 13 out of Tampa Bay on the 14th, which is less than a week before they ended up discovering what ended up being those personal items and eventually the remains of Brian Laundrie. And I, of course, dove straight into the video, and the first thing just flew right out at me, and that would be these power lines that are in the foreground. So if I go to the photo that it reminds me of, it would be this photo of Chris and Roberta Laundrie. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like power lines. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. It might be kind of hard to see, but it's very clear that that is the area. Now that road, if we go over here to the left, that road runs east to west. It's this road, and it runs pretty far. So I wasn't sure at the beginning of the video kind of where they could have been, but I definitely pointed them out, or in my head I was thinking they're definitely in this area. And if we actually go to the full screen of that road, and we go and angle this a little bit, we can see that this is exactly where Chris and Roberta were at in that photo. At least that's where I think they were at. So you can see that there's a pole here on the right side and a pole over here just almost out of frame. And then there are a bunch of the power lines way down the road on the left side. And as you can see here, there are 2 poles. We can't actually make out the power lines in this Google Earth image, but if you can see, if I move it around, you can really see them. There are the 2 poles. I believe this is where that photo was taken, near the entrance to the reserve, so they hadn't gotten into it very far at that point. But then if you go down further, you can see that the left side is where all of those poles are lined up. And so, of course, like I said, at the beginning, I wasn't quite sure because, like I said, that road runs really far east to west, so they could have been anywhere. So I, of course, watched through the video. I was trying to look for little identifiers, little, things that stood out as for something to look for in the Google Maps. And then I got all the way to the end of the video, and I'll link this down below. At about the 11-minute and 15-second mark, they start to zoom out. And let me show you guys. They're in this big bunch of trees here, and I'll scrub backwards. The video actually never cuts. So they're going through a little bit of swampy areas. You can see the dog in the video, that the dog is definitely in this bunch of trees. And if you go through the video, you'll be able to see yourself. It never cuts. They're down in these trees. They're down in those trees. The video's trying to capture the dog still, but they're hidden. And then, like I said, right here, it's starting to pull away at about the 11-minute and 15-second mark. And as they were pulling away, I was thinking, oh, great, this is going to give away way more information as to where they might be. And then I paused the video, and I immediately knew where they were. And this right here is what gave it away. So if I go over to the Google Maps and show you guys, it's a little hard to see, but this is the exact same spill-off as in the video. So if we pull back even further, you can see that this is the exact rounded area of trees over here and the exact same rounded, and then the spillaway spot is right here. and then the spill off is there. And it kept zooming out, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, there's the road down to the bottom right. If we go over here, there's the road. You can see the canal. If I actually turn it at the exact angle, roughly, you can see the exact canal, the Big Slough Canal. There's the Big Slough Canal there. And then I was just thinking, they were so close. This is that group of trees, keep in mind, down here that they zoomed out of. So the dog was roughly right down here in this group of trees. And as it zoomed out even more, you can actually see that up here at the very top of the screen, if I make it go full screen, this up here where my mouse is moving, that's where they ended up finding Brian, right in this little corner down here. So if I zoom out, you'll see this is that patch where they ended up finding Brian, and that is the same patch right up here. And you can even see the big clearing right here off to the left. That would be this big clearing over here, but obviously at this angle is kind of what you're seeing it at. So that's somewhat of the angle that we're looking at. And then, I mean, you can even get more specific with it to really just line it up that is exactly where they were. Or sorry, down here is where they were, and Brian's remains were down there. And that made me realize how close they truly were. So let's just go back up here, and I'll scrub back a little ways and show you guys. This is the grouping of trees that they're looking at. I pinned that at about right here on the map. These two trees that I'm hovering my mouse over are the exact two trees right here. And so they're somewhere within there. So we can accurately guess within a few feet, or within a few, couple yards, a couple 100 feet possibly. I'm just going to stick the mouse here and measure the distance to where they ended up finding Brian, which, as we know, give or take a few feet, a few meters, was right around here. And it's 2,000 feet, you guys. As the crow flies, 2,000 feet. That's like 0.35 miles. If we actually put it in, let's just call it 2,000 feet, give or take, 0.37, okay? That's not far at all. In fact, that's close. That's not even remotely far. And so, this chopper footage tells us a lot about just how close they were that day. And as you can see, the video, the chopper ends up flying away, and that's all we see that day. But they were so incredibly close to Brian. I wanted to make this video prior to streaming today. I may end up posting this video. All right, guys, so that is a repost. I saw some people asking in the comments, is this a repost from earlier? And yes, it is. I wanted to play that for anyone who maybe is finding the stream for the first time, or finding my channel for the first time, who may have not seen that video. And I did say earlier, I think I maybe saw someone comment that I said September 14th, meant to say October 14th. That footage was from October 14th, which is, I think they found him on the 20th. So less than a week before they found Brian. So I don't know. It's pretty wild. Brown Green says not that close. Are you saying it's not that close? When you think about, the cadaver dogs, that's the whole kind of topic, is that people think that they should be able to sniff out what they're looking for from miles away. And we're talking, this was less than half a mile. So I call BS, no way. If dead body, the dogs would have found that body. If human remains. Yeah, so see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are kind of calling BS on this. But that was 100% where they were looking. Isn't it amazing that a mom and a son can be twins? Yeah. Some people think that Brian, see, that's the thing. Some people, they don't believe it. They don't believe it at all. Aaron, thanks for your twin. I feel like I've smelled it from the road. Right, Hunter, I feel like I could have smelled it from the road. Yeah, that's what a lot of people think. All right, let's go into here. So I had, let's see. Hello. This is from earlier when I recorded that video, just to show you guys. I was going to go through it live, and then I just thought, you know what? Let's just play the video. They faked his dental records. His dentist was his family member. I haven't heard that, but interesting. These are all those same videos. This is a TikTok. So this is this was sent to me to watch on stream. Let me just go to this screen, and then we can, I don't know how TikTok works. Can I make this larger? No. It's got copywritten sound in it, and he's not actually talking. I went through and viewed this, so we're just going to have to kind of pause and read through it. I'm just going to go back to full screen. I'll try to pause it so we can all read it. So, bloodhounds are one breed whose nose is admissible in the court of law because they can fund dead bodies. It's TikTok. Someone misspelled all of that. This guy says false. As a canine handler and lawyer, I had to comment. So let's see what this guy has to say. Like I said, he's not actually talking in the video, so we're just going to pause. Aaron, how long did it take you to match it all up? I'll get into that in a moment. Let's go through this. So not only bloodhounds can track or find the odor of human remains. These sentences are bad, but cadaver dogs find the odor of human remains. Odor has to be present or generating for the dogs to find it. Generating, meaning like a constant odor or like a current odor, like someone that's like putting out an odor. I don't know what generating means. In certain circumstances, the odor may not be present, or the odor might be present, but so dispersed, the dog cannot pinpoint it. Yes, specially trained human remains detection dogs can find odor in water. So there's that question. I mean, look, this is a TikTok. We're not taking this as fact, but everything I've been seeing is saying that they can sniff things out of water. It is one of the hardest skills to accomplish and requires a lot of interpretation by the handler and understanding if the water and the environment. That was a bad sentence. I thought I was going to continue. Oh, we're full screen now. How'd that happen? Learning to find odor on the water is an additional skill. So this is where it gets interesting, and usually taught only after the canine is solid on land. So it sounds like water trained dogs are like top notch. In general, canines are evaluated and tested every 1 to 2 years, usually by an outside agency. And then it looks like this is showing the certification for, water is usually an additional testing and certification criteria. So that begs the question, and I know a lot of people messaged me about this already. Were these dogs that they were using at the reserve, were they trained in water rescue, not water rescue, but water recoveries? Were they trained to be able to do that? And that's a good question. I think as long as they put that information out there, that would answer a lot of questions for people. So, I don't know. And someone asked me earlier how long it took me to go through all of that information on the video to find that's where they were in the video of the Skyfox footage. I mean, it took me about 12 minutes because I watched this entire video. So this is the video that was sent to me by many, many people. And they said, try to find where this is at on the map in relation to where Brian was found. And I should have gone to the end. The best thing to do with these types of videos, especially chopper footage, is just scrub around and look for times that they zoom out, because that's where you really get a lot of context clues. And so it really took me like 12 minutes because I watched through this whole video. And like I said at the beginning, I counted and saw that there were 5 of these power lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I knew that lined up perfectly with the power lines over this little access road that runs east and west. This is the Laundries the day they found the remains. And so I knew that they were at least along this road that the power lines are along. So once again, I know that this is kind of going over the same thing over and over again, but this is that road where the power lines run along. And so I knew to just keep watching the video and try to find other context clues. And then, of course, I got to the end of the video where it zoomed out and showed where Brian ended up being. So it took about 12 minutes. And the video itself took me however long it took to record. It didn't take long at all. I just wanted to throw that up before the stream. There are 1,200 people. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for all joining. let's get the likes going. Let's try to get eventually to maybe 1,000 likes. There's 1,000 people in here. So what are some of the people saying? Does anyone know when searchers made their way over to that area? I've seen where they were 8 miles away in late September. Mercy, that's a good question. Yeah, a couple days ago in my video about how far they were in their initial searches, we did come to that conclusion that they were over 8 miles away. That video specifically, Mercy, was from October 14th. So Fox 13 Tampa Bay was over the reserve with their helicopter on October 14th. And that's, just several days before he was found on the 20th. So this was very late in the search. That's only 4 lines, just saying. No, I think it's 5. So let's go through it again here. Let me pause. It's kind of hard to see. There's a good one right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I'll hit play so you can really see them moving. 1, 2, 3 is right over the road. 4 and 5, and then once again, the lines in this video or in this photo of the Laundries, there's 2 way up high. You can tell 1, 2, and then 3 down low. 3, 4, 5. So there's. I mean, this is it. This is exactly where they're looking, but it's 5 lines if that's what you're referring to. Okay, cool. So let's move on. So let's see what they have to say about the cadaver dogs in this News Nation clip.
Thanks very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. So talk to me about...
I believe this is a cadaver expert, if I'm not mistaken. So let's listen in on this a bit, and then we can comment on it afterwards. Thanks so much for all the people joining the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying it. Let's continue.
About the way that cadaver dogs work. I mean, if they had cadaver dogs out there a month ago in this basic area, even if there was water there, would the dogs have been able to find the body?
Thank you for having me. And if the body had been there when they went by with cadaver dogs, and the body had been there for more than 2 or 3 minutes, the odor would have come through the water, and yes, they should have been able to locate that body.
So just to be clear, cadaver dogs can sniff out a body even if it's underwater.
That's correct.
Just quickly take us through the training that these dogs go through, because I think that some people don't realize that this is different from the way that other police canines are trained.
It is. And there's a couple of different ways of doing it. The methodology that I trained with was you actually use human parts in training the dog. So you bury parts of a human, could have been medical surgery. You let them deteriorate. When I was in Germany doing some training, opened a freezer one time and I looked at all sorts of human parts, not breakfast. So close the door, off we go. But that's what you have to do with a cadaver dog, is you are using human parts. It can't be necessarily from a medical hospital all the time that treats cancer, because you're training a cancer dog and not a human cadaver dog.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Knowing what you know as you do, I mean, you know exactly how these dogs work, what they can find, what they can't find. Does this make sense to you that the cadaver dogs were out there previously and they didn't find anything, and now the family, the parents of Brian Laundrie, go with the authorities to the scene today, and they're almost immediately able to find his personal items and his remains?
It's highly suspicious. If the body was there at that time, X weeks ago, And if it's the same dog and the same quality of dog or same quality of training, yeah, they should have found it. They would have detected Landry's body.
So the question, of course, now becomes maybe he was still alive at that time. I mean, you know, you have to, if you have the faith in the dogs that you do, you have to believe then that at the time the dogs were there, if they were in this same area, then he wasn't dead at that time, assuming this is his body.
Assuming that it's his body, and it's a lot of things falling into place all at one time, and it's kind of hard for me to swallow. Gee, the parents go there. Gee, they find all this stuff that's supposedly been out there for weeks, and a human body. So, or parts of a human body. So it's, if the dogs are well trained, well maintained, and we're in that area, then yeah, they should have smelled the odor of the human.
All right, guys. So there's that little bit there. I found that to be pretty interesting. What are your guys' thoughts? I know a lot of people are saying it's not Brian. I saw someone say that you don't turn to bone in 3 days. That's another interesting point. There's a lot of speculation around that. Like, did he get eaten by an alligator? Like, they found remains, you know, whatever that meant. Like someone just said, how many teeth did they find? None of it's been answered, right? So whatever that means, we don't know. But another thing someone was talking about was he may have been dragged to where he ended up, and the rest of his body could be somewhere else. Like if an animal did get to him, maybe the majority of his remains are somewhere much further away. And this just happened to be brought there like right before the search ended, or before they ended up finding him. But then at the same time, you have the notebook and the other items that they found in that area. So it's like, it kind of rules out the idea of him being dragged, or at least whatever remains they found to have been dragged to that location. So I don't know. They lied. What if the FBI is lying and seeing what the Laundries are up to? I was told, or I saw that the Laundries are back in their home. So I don't know if that is true, but apparently the Laundries are back home. Apparently they were grieving with Cassie in an undisclosed location. That's the last thing I heard. Yeah, so I did a poll a moment ago. I want to see what people are saying. Yeah, so it's pretty obvious. There's 360 votes of, do you think the dog should have been able to find Brian? I think most people are in the majority there and saying, yeah. And I agree. I mean, there's just so many mysteries around this case. It's like, I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm just purely speculating and reacting to what we're given. And it's just that you have experts saying that they should have been able to find him. So it's just like, that kind of seems like the only logical answer. So yeah, they've only found partial remains. This could be his last location, but the majority of remains are elsewhere. Chris, that's what I was saying, but I mean, it's like one of those things where, how did his notebook get so close? You know what I mean? Unless Chris and Roberta planted those. But then again, how would they just all of a sudden randomly find his body parts? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. But yeah, that could be a huge possibility. I also just saw that Brian Enton has landed in Moab, the reporter Brian Enton. So, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys know what Brian is doing in... do you guys know what Brian's doing in Moab? Let me know. Dogs did not smell Kelsey breath in her apartment, even though blood under the floorboards. And yeah, another thing, someone just said, look, dogs, like they're not going to get it right every single time, and we don't even know if these dogs were technically trained in underwater smelling. So let's see. The water bottle thing is interesting. But she said that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the people making the TikTok videos and Twitter videos at the reserve. Something came out about someone else being in that area and saying that it didn't smell like anything. And so maybe she was just making something and glorifying the video by saying how much it smelled like death. Also, something could have died. Like, something could have died nearby there that was dead and smelled terrible. So I don't know. But all that said, it's all very mysterious, and it doesn't get us any closer to any sort of answers. That's for sure. In my opinion, you went to look where Gabby was found. Oh, you're talking about Brian Enton? Yeah, I think he's probably just going to go do some reporting out in Moab, because now there's just so many, there's just so many things that we need answered in terms of like Gabby's, how Gabby passed away. So I think him going out to Moab, it mixes everything up. I mean, they left when the Laundries were still wherever they were grieving. I think they probably just decided to mix things up and go out there. Let's read through this for a moment. What does this say? Can we slow chat, please? Yeah, let's try to slow down the chat. If I am able to slow the chat. Bear with me here, guys. I'm going to try to slow the chat. All right. Almost 1,800 people in here. Is that what I'm seeing? Crazy. Thank you guys all for joining. All right, I'm gonna figure out how to slow this chat. I think I should have done it at the beginning of the stream when I first started the stream. It's like a setting you have to turn on. So I'm gonna see if I can troubleshoot live here and slow it down. I'm gonna watch a quick video. But this, I have this pulled up here. I don't know if you guys are able to read this. This is some more on cadaver dogs. I just figured I would throw it up on the screen as I'm trying to get the chat to slow down. Chat enable slow mode. All right, so we're gonna try this. Did someone say Mel sent them? Thank you. Yes, Mel is he's a legend. Thanks to him for all of the shout outs and the videos. He's sharing a lot of my videos over there and linking my channel. Super nice of Mel. I really, really appreciate that. Mel actually called me today, and we're talking about doing some sort of a collaboration in the future. So if that sounds like something you guys would like to see, let me know. And what would you like to see, if anything? All right, here we go. Let's try to do this slow mode. I think I'm onto something here. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see Mel and I collaborate. We're both here in Florida, so we could link up. We talked about going to the reserve. We talked about going out and doing some stuff IRL in real life. So let me know if that sounds like something you guys would be interested in seeing. So live chat, here we go. Slow mode, here we go. I just turned slow mode on. Sorry that took so long. It's going to be saving now, and hopefully that will be enabled sooner rather than later. So I'm going to head back to the stream, and hopefully we can keep things rolling. But I turned slow mode on. Sorry about that. But yeah, look at this. So this has to do with cadaver dogs. It says unscientific myth or reliable biological devices. So some people, they definitely don't want to believe that the dogs couldn't have found him. I left this up on the screen. I don't know if we should go through the whole thing, but dogs are commonly used to detect explosive, narcotics, and other illegal materials. In the forensic setting, cadaver dogs are trained to detect and locate concealed human remains or fluids due to the high sensitivity and selectivity of the canine olfactory system and the relative ease with which dogs can be trained and handled. The need for international and scientifically validated standards has long been outlined by the literature. It is important, therefore, to establish the reliability of the handler/dog team. That's another thing. A lot of people, they are starting to blame the handlers as well, because when you have a dog, and there's another article I was reading earlier, and I don't have this one pulled up, I apologize, but they're basically saying the handler is also responsible for a lot of what's going on with the dog. So the dog could be giving off triggers, and if the handler isn't properly doing their job as well, that could cause some problems. So I'm not blaming the handler by any means, but it's one of those things where maybe the handler had some issues and messed up along the way. Anyways, so also, why did you put me on a timeout, Aaron? I think earlier there was there was so many messages coming through while we were trying to slow down the chat, so it was probably just to try to slow messages. But you're back in the chat now, so no worries. Anyways, so let's continue. So yeah, the handler situation is interesting. Our study aimed to detect the real effectiveness of dogs trained to locate human cadaveric blood in very low concentrations through an optimized and rigorously controlled design, which would rule out any possible source of bias. The study was designed to determine the dog's olfactory sensitivity to human cadaveric blood and how this capacity might change as the dilution of blood increases from pure blood to very low concentrations. So it varies based on what they have to work with, right? And that's another thing with this. Some people are baffled as to how the bones, how it's just bones, and how did it get to this level of decomposition this fast? And if he indeed was in water for any substantial amount of time, apparently that can happen, and that's why he's been sent to the anthropologist, which the definition of an anthropologist is a forensic anthropologist is when human remains or suspected burial are found, forensic anthropologists are called upon to gather information from their bones and their recovery context to determine who died, how they died, and how long ago they died. Forensic anthropologists specialize in analyzing hard tissue such as bones. And so that was the update that we got, I think, late last night, was that they sent Brian's remains to a anthropologist as opposed to the medical examiner. He couldn't determine the cause of death, and so they're trying to figure that out through an anthropologist. So anyways, let's see here. Have we seen this video? So this is where the anthropologist comes in. So let's play this video here, since we now have gone through what anthropologists do, or forensic anthropologists at the very least. Let's hear from one.
Questions surrounding Brian Laundrie's death are getting passed from a medical examiner now to a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Erin Kimmerly is an associate professor in the Department of Anthropology at the University of South Florida. She researches how bodies decompose in different weather, and she is joining us live tonight to share her expertise. Doctor, we appreciate your time. Let's begin with the coroner. They were not able to determine a cause and a manner of death. So what does that tell you about the remains found?
Well, usually the medical examiner calls an anthropologist to look at all of the skeletal remains when the tissues are too decomposed to say anything about injuries. And so that person will look over all of the bones and determine if there is in fact any trauma present.
So what will the challenges be now for the anthropologist in trying to uncover those answers?
Well, if there are injuries or trauma to the body that affects bones, then it will be pretty evident and that would be clear. In cases where there's a soft tissue injury that decomposes and it never affected bone, that's where the challenge is, because then you have nothing to make that diagnosis for. Same thing if it's something like a drug overdose. It would just depend on toxicology and whether the tissues were preserved enough in order to get a positive result.
Give us an idea on how long a process like that typically takes.
Well, once the remains are cleaned and skeletal, the anthropologists can do their work in just a matter of a couple of days. We would take a lot of photographs and x-rays. Sometimes we'll look at things under a microscope if we want to have a closer examination. But usually what takes the most amount of time is processing and cleaning the remains. So once that's done, it should be fairly quick. And usually the medical examiner will have the anthropologist give that opinion and it becomes part of their report. So I'm not sure where they're at with this process in terms of making a ruling and then giving it to the anthropologist or actually including that in their final diagnosis.
I know your work focuses on how Florida weather decomposes bodies. Based on what we know so far, if in fact the remains were bones, does it make sense to you with the time frame that we have over the course of potentially 4 to 5 weeks?
That can definitely happen in Florida, especially the last month. It's been very hot and very wet. We can see skeletonization in as little as a week if the body is on the surface and there's nothing basically prohibiting birds and other predators from the remains. That's usually the biggest variable in terms of changing that timeline, is whether or not there's access to predators.
So it is possible. And would an anthropologist be able to determine if that happened?
Yes, they would, because often also those predators may leave marks or other damage to the bones. And so that's something that you want to look at very carefully and differentiate any post-mortem damage from any potential injuries or trauma to the body.
Is it possible, I know people want answers, they want definitive answers in this case, but is it possible we may never know exactly what happened and how Brian died?
It is possible. There's a lot of cases that we have that are skeletal like that, where the diagnosis for manner and cause of death is undetermined. That's not unusual. It's also not unusual to get cases that are murder-suicides. That happens quite frequently. So I think once toxicology comes in and once the anthropologist has an opportunity to look at all those bones, then we should have a fairly good idea if in fact there was injuries and what they were.
And because he was a person of interest in Gabby's death, in your experience, how closely, as this continues to be an active investigation, potential murder investigation, how closely is an anthropologist working with law enforcement to uncover any potential DNA evidence that could help in a case?
Well, in a case like this, and particularly as time goes by, if it's a matter of weeks or months, sometimes if it's an outdoor scene like that, any DNA on clothing or other artifacts may be too degraded. But hopefully, ideally, in both scenarios, both in Wyoming and in Florida, there would be an anthropologist at the scene helping with the recovery and processing the scene. And then also with analysis, looking at the remains for any types of injuries or trauma.
Excavating any clues we can find. Dr. Aaron Kimmerly, we appreciate.
All right, guys. So once again, we have an expert talking about something, not giving necessarily definitive answers about whether or not, we're going to be able to come to some sort of a conclusion, or whether whoever is like, boots on the ground with all of this is going to be able to come to a conclusion. And so that's difficult to hear, right? You hear that they should be able to identify all of this at some point, but whether they will or not is the question. We're going to dive in to some live mapping in a moment. So I had a bunch of questions come in talking about when Brian's dad was at the reserve on October 7th. Which is, like 2 weeks essentially prior to when they found Brian. No, less than 2 weeks, because they found Brian on October 20th. So we're going to do some live mapping. So I'm going to pull the WFLA footage up over here and then pull some maps up as well. Some people said, let's go back in the chat here, and then we'll hop in and do some live mapping, because we want to be able to see where Brian's dad was day of search, like how close were they. And I know they only were really able to show his truck, but we're going to go through regardless and just see what we can find. All right, so let's see what some people are saying, because I saw some interesting comments. Oh yeah, someone said when you're in Florida, you have gators and other aquatic life that could help deteriorate the body. That's true. Oh, I saw something about a gun come through, and that's a really interesting one. If there was a gun, obviously, if there was a gun, you're gonna have a gun to find. Like, it's not like he took himself out there unless he was with someone else. Ended his life, and then they decided to take everything out, because if that was the case, they didn't remove the notebook, they didn't remove the water bottle if the water bottle is indeed his. So if the gun question comes into play of if he used a weapon, they're gonna have to find that gun, right? And so the weird thing is, to me, is you've got all these people running around the reserve now. And it's open to the public, which it's like, I get that they need to get things back up and moving, but you would think, we're not even a week removed from them finding his body. It's the 26th right now, and they found him on the 20th. You would think they'd at least have the place closed for a week and conduct just an entire sweep of that area. I mentioned that in yesterday's stream. Just like, look for everything, any sort of a clue as to what happened and how he ended up there. The gun was in Fort DeSoto, so that's a gun that they found. So we don't know whose gun the Fort DeSoto gun is, unless that's new information. But they don't know who the Fort DeSoto gun belongs to. They were saying potentially he could have gotten rid of a gun if he used a gun at a previous time. He could have gotten rid of it at the campsite. Let's see. So let's do some live mapping. We have 1,800 people in here, guys. You know what we should do before we do live mapping? We should check out the poll. Okay, so do you think that they'll? Oh wow, we've got people saying no. 28% say yes on. Do you think they'll determine the cause of death? That's not a very hopeful answer by 28% of the 430 people who voted. 71% say no, that they do not think that they'll end up finding a cause of death. I hope that that's not the case. But I was talking to my wife about this, and I think more people, the people at least that are on the boat that think that Brian Laundrie for sure is the one who killed Gabby, because we know at this point all fingers point towards him. More people are interested in knowing how she died and knowing like if there's any DNA under her fingernails or on her body that they were able to find. And I feel like at this point, don't you think they would have mentioned for sure that it was him if it was Brian? I don't know why they would be sitting on it this long. But I think more people are interested in getting that kind of closure and justice around Gabby, because if Brian just went in and ended his life, it's like, yeah, we probably want to know the specifics of that, but more so almost we just want to know exactly who killed Gabby, because that is just the bigger mystery really behind all of it. This entire thing turned into Brian, and it's like almost forgotten the Gabby situation. And so another good reason why Brian Enton is out there is he is now where Gabby passed away. So the story of Gabby hopefully will pick back up. So we almost have 2,000 people in here. Before we go do some live mapping, let's smash the like button. At least 200 of you hit that like button and we'll cross over the 1,000 like mark. So let's do that, and then we're going to get into some live mapping of when Brian's dad was at the reserve. So I'm going to get this all lined up. Perfect timing. It's good to go. Let's wait and see. Let's get this thing over 1,000 likes. Mulling over maps. Yes. Some people have very strong opinions of what they think happened, and guess what? You have every right to whatever opinion you want to have. You're probably in the minority if you don't think that Brian is the prime suspect, but you have a right to your own opinion. Aaron, they didn't find the skull and notebook. They planted them. All of this is a well thought out hoax. Rainy day lady. If that is the case, then we're going to be covering this story for a lot longer than I am even imagining, because sooner or later the truth comes out. And if that's the case, there's going to be a lot more to talk about when it comes to this case in the future. You're not alone in thinking that there's more to this than what's kind of been said already. So who knows? I'm not agreeing with you entirely, but I'm also not saying that you're wrong. There could be more to it. Parents need to be charged, says Tom. I don't know. At the very least, they need to talk, and I think that they will soon. We did it. We crossed 1,000. Thank you guys to the 1,000 people who have hit the like button. Let's do some live mapping. Okay, so on the right side of the screen, I'm going to put the WFLA footage from October 7th when Brian's dad joined the search. If you guys remember him joining the search, and then later on he actually went and drove through kind of another neighborhood where there was another condo that they owned. Let's go in on the reserve here. So I'm going to play through this video a little bit, and this is like the best point that you can pause the video. This just happened to be right here, but this is the road that everyone came in on at the reserve, or everyone has to come in on. Someone asked about the figurine back there, I think. I'll have to show you guys that a bit later. Definitely remind me. But this is that road. So this is the Reisterstown Road that is in this shot right here in the top right. And if we go ahead and turn the footage and angle it down, you guys can see that it lines up perfectly. So now we can kind of do some live tracking with the helicopter. So sorry about that. I thought I was over on this screen. If I put it over here, you can kind of see exactly where the helicopter might be over. Okay, so let's hit play, because I think that they're going to try to zoom in on Brian's dad's truck. So that would be like over here. They're basically right here, right next to the bridge. Yeah, so there's the these are where a lot of the trails start. And so they're kind of zooming in on this area right here. Let's keep zooming I'll try to kind of shift the orientation of the video as it's happening. Okay, so there's the clearing that they're looking at there. All right, so this is where it gets, sometimes I have to scroll back. All right, here we go. Let's zoom in. Okay, so they zoomed out a substantial amount here. Okay, so they're zoomed out to about there. Maybe even a little bit more, because yeah, we're seeing that entire clearing over here to the right. That's this right here. So let's see where they zoom in and find that truck. So they're zooming back in over to here. So yeah, they're still just kind of in this area. Oh, that thing is like right there. Oh, I zoomed back. All right, I went too far back in the video. Oh well, we're getting it. Oh, so that's literally just like right here. Like they may have missed a tree on the Google Maps, but they're looking like right around here. I don't know if this is what Brian's dad drove into the reserve. There was that photo of him with a guy who looked somewhat like Brian from the side profile. Later on, it was super obvious. They showed him on another part of the video where it was very clearly not Brian. I think he was driving Brian's dad around in this little gator here. So they may have been, I mean, if they were out right here, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. If Brian's dad was even right here the day that they searched, then they were exactly, or roughly, 2,100 feet away from him. So, I mean, it's crazy to think that the day that they went and searched, or that his dad came out and searched, they were this close, but then the day he went out on the 20th, they just immediately went out to this location to the north and happened to find everything. So let me clear this measurement and we'll keep going, because I think they zoom in on the truck, and that's the one I've been getting the request on the most, is showing where Brian's dad's truck was when he came to the reserve. So let's keep it rolling. Thanks again for everyone getting the stream to 1,000 likes and for subscribing as well. We hit 7,000 subscribers earlier. I haven't checked it since, but I think we're probably close to 7,500 if I had to guess. So thanks so much to all the new subscribers as well. They're really honing in on this. Let me play the volume.
And where they went is anybody's guess. But they're back somewhere in.
So yeah, this is the point where they're talking about not even knowing where they're at. So the helicopter pilot and cameraman Paul is just kind of honing in on this area, but Brian's dad got lost in these trees, I believe.
In this area on foot, and we'll keep looking here until we have to leave, and then once we refuel we can come back and maybe see if we can track them down. But somewhere back in here, and they've had probably an hour head start, so we'll look back in that area and see. But I want to show you, this is what they were searching on.
And I'm going to pause. I mean, this sign right here in front of the gator, it's actually the sign for the trailhead. So on the Google Maps, you can kind of see that these three little kind of trails over here, they lead into this one section. And that's where you kind of get the sign, if you've ever gone on a hike, that says like what trails are available to you. That's what this is right here, I'm pretty sure. From the videos that I've been seeing of the area, that's what that sign is, and that would make sense. But it doesn't show up very clearly on the Google image side. However, that's what that is there. And then this gator would have just been parked just right where my mouse is at, just somewhere right around here.
We thought they might have gotten further than they really did, but this vehicle is the only search vehicle that we've seen out in the reserve today. We haven't seen any law enforcement vehicles. We haven't seen anything other than this, and we don't even know who's driving it. It's not labeled as a law enforcement vehicle. So again, that's the vehicle they drove off into the woods.
I'm gonna skip ahead, guys. They just keep showing this this green gator. Let's try to identify Brian's dad's truck, because that's a thing that they showed earlier in the stream, and that's what I've been getting some requests about, to try to find where his dad's truck was. I would assume his dad's truck, though, was just somewhere in this area towards the entrance to the park, because you enter the park right here, and it actually ended up being confirmed that Brian's car was somewhere in this initial parking lot where there's some grass here, I believe, but I need to go in and confirm that before I make a video about it. But I would assume his dad's truck is somewhere in this area as well. It doesn't look like everything is flooded on October 7th. Yeah, October 7th doesn't look as flooded. If we go full screen on this WFLA footage, let me try to find a spot where they're zoomed out a bit more. Yeah, this is that section, that first section of clearing. Things look to be a lot less flooded. I mean, if we're going to compare the photo, I can pull up this photo here, and some people, whether you believe that this is accurate or not, this is apparently what the reserve looked like in late September, and that is a substantial amount of rain that is pooled up around these access roads, and this is apparently what it looked like on October 20th when they found them. So definitely, you know, if this is accurate information, there's definitely some water level decrease between those two dates. And I mean, you can definitely tell that the law enforcement are here during this photo. This is certainly taken from the search efforts for Brian early on. All right, so let's hop back in here and try to find. We're doing some live. For those just joining, we're almost at 2,000 viewers. Thank you to the new people joining the stream. We're doing some live mapping. If you haven't seen my videos, if you're new to my videos, I made a video a few days ago showing the location of Brian Laundrie's remains. And at the time that I made the video, it was just when they were his personal items that they had found. And then shortly after I uploaded the video, it was confirmed that those were indeed his remains, whether you believe it or not, because some people definitely don't believe that that was Brian. Anyways, so I'm very into maps. So I've made a couple map videos since. Today I made a video talking about how close the cadaver dogs were, and actually earlier on this stream, in this stream, we talked about that again as well. So if you're new and you want to go see some of my previous videos, definitely hit subscribe and go check those out. And yeah, if you're just new to joining tonight, we're just going through and doing a bit of mapping to try to find where Brian's dad's truck was, even though I don't think it's super important information, but some people want me to try to look and see. So I'm just trying to match up this footage here on the side once again. Let me just go full screen on this video and see if we can't find it. Okay, so this is showing footage of earlier in the day when Brian's dad came out to the reserve. Are they going to go back and show some? No, they're not. So maybe the left screen is showing.
All right, folks, so we're not exactly sure how much longer we're going to have.
Well, I don't know. This should be the stream where we get to see. I mean, they're flying right over it, you guys. This is crazy. They're very, very close to where Brian ended up being found. Yeah, they're just right on it. They just keep showing that gator. There looks like a bit more water there. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I guess maybe in this live stream they didn't show where his dad parked that, or it was towards the beginning of oh, okay, here we go. So yeah, this is going to basically show exactly what I thought, and it's that it was probably in this little entrance here, and we'll move on from this after we confirm it. But yeah, okay, there you go. There's the red truck. Okay, so let's zoom back in the video a little bit so we can get some context as to where we are. And this is one of the best context clues for the area, and it's this little gazebo, this little roof right here. Okay, so that's what they're showing right there, and then they're showing what appears to be this road on the far right is going to be this little walkway here. And so this is kind of the angle they're looking at. And so let's follow along, and then we'll pinpoint exactly where his dad's car was when he entered the reserve. It's probably just going to be somewhere over here in these trees. So they zoomed out. So they zoomed in on a white truck that's right about here. They're kind of panning around this way, showing this road. This is kind of the entrance to the reserve. You can go a couple different ways. In this Google image, you don't see the fence right here, but there's a fence there now right on this patch of grass, and that's actually right where Brian parked his car as well. So that confirms that too. I saw some photos. So yeah, it looks like they're just gonna go around and then confirm that his car is just under these groups of trees here. So yeah, it looks like the Google image doesn't show like how thick these trees truly are, but this black sedan, this black SUV is going to be right under this area right here. And like I said, the fence isn't here right now, but this long fence was right here running north and south, roughly north and south. And then Chris Laundrie's truck would have been right here where I'm wiggling my mouse. So they zoom in on it there. And so if we want to pinpoint exactly how far they were from Brian, the day that Chris parked his truck to go find or to look for Brian, if we just want to go down the trail, we can do it as if we're walking on into the park, and we'll measure the entire distance to where Brian's remains were found. This is where the bridge is at now. We zoom out a little bit. This is north and south now. North is facing up, south is facing down. We know that Brian's remains were found right over here. Based on that gator being right at the entrance of these trails, that gator that they were showing earlier is right around here. This is where you would start the trail. The left side is the Live Long Trail, and that is the trail that Brian was said to have enjoyed and frequented often, apparently. And then if you go up the trail, it goes up into these trees and around and back, and you actually end up coming back on this side of this canal. And that side of the canal on the trail is called the Prosper Trail. So Brian chose to go on the Live Long Trail. If he did, in fact, I'm not ruling out any of the conspiracies, guys. We can think wild thoughts. This whole story is crazy and unique. If Brian walked into the if he did in fact walk into the reserve on his own two legs, he would have been on this trail here, and then he was found roughly in this area. So 4,270 feet. Which is exactly 1,000 feet under a mile. So we know that 5,280 feet in a mile. Once again, we'll do the math. 4,280 feet in miles. There's how many miles? 0.81 miles. So from Chris Laundrie's truck, the day he went to go look for Brian, the moment he parked his truck and got out, he only had to walk 4,280 feet to find Brian. Less than a mile. So I don't know, guys. So that solved that. I can go ahead and refer anyone who messages me now about the truck to this part of the video, this part of the stream, because I've had a couple of people curious, and it's one of those things. I think they were just curious as to whether or not they were searching like way over here in the reserve, right? Like they definitely weren't dozens of miles away. They were close. They were definitely close. So I turned on slow mode. Hopefully it's not going too slow. It's definitely a little bit easier to read. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of your guys' comments. If there's anything you guys want me to look up as far as the map stuff, we can pull up anything else that you guys might find interesting. But until then, I'm going to read a few of your guys' comments. Yep says, I just want proof it's Brian they found because we have no DNA, no cause of death, no tissue of the body, and just partial skull and tooth. That's all they're going on, and that's not proof it's Brian. It's definitely not enough for a lot of people. That's very true. Candy A says, Aaron, you just made me more suspicious. Ugh. Well, sorry to break it to you, Cindy, or Candy. They were very, very close to finding. They were very close to where they ended up finding Brian. Pretty much a whole week before they ended up finding Brian. So they were in this area of the reserve, the Myakkahatchee Reserve, for close to a week before they found Brian. So definitely reason to be suspicious, at least a little bit. You have every reason to believe that, or to feel that. Okay, so I'm going to move this up a little bit. And then move it over. All right, going to read a few more. You YouTubers should do a collaboration of all known information. Oh my gosh, that would be That would be quite the collaboration. I don't even know what all known information is out there. If someone could give me all known information in a perfect timeline, then maybe we could. But I definitely want to collab with a couple people. I appreciate Grizzly giving me the shout out. Tyler Feller, I think, gave me a shout out. I couldn't find it. And then, of course, Mel from the Ikid Mel channel. I've linked Mel down below in the description of this video. A lot of people that are here right now are obviously probably here because they're fans of Mel's. But if you're not, he also makes content. He's based here in Florida as well. And we definitely are looking to link up at some point. We're both very busy right now, not just with this streaming stuff, but with life. So we'll meet up at some point and do a collaboration of some sort. Can we confirm by dates and whether if Brian arrived at the reserve of water, the water was low, then rose? I mean, I think that there's ways to look into actual rain data for like specific dates. Let me look. That's a good question. I would imagine the water was probably pretty similar the whole time. You know, I think it rained so much in the lead up to him being in the reserve. So I can definitely look into that a bit more in a moment, though. I'm going to keep reading some of these comments. Yes, Alicia in the mod. Alicia the mod. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Alicia. We're at 1,800 people. We almost got 2,000 live concurrent viewers, and we're at 1,200 likes. So clearly, the majority of the people in here like the stream so far. So if we want to get that up to 1,500, that'd be cool. I think we could all do that. Mel is a good one. Yeah, Jill, I agree. On the notebook, are they just going to give it to the parents and let them see what it says, or are they going to give it to the public? Robert says, you know, I think that they should, for sure, if they get anything out of the notebook, the parents will probably know what it says. But if they need that to be public as well in order to like kind of solidify whether or not it was truly Brian. Like if in the notebook was a suicide note, for instance, or an explanation of what happened, even if it was a terrible explanation of potentially Brian ending Gabby's life, then that would help a lot of people that are on the fence about believing that it's actually him or not. You know, if that's a good poll question. If let me do this real quick. I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but I want everyone to vote on this next poll. Toothless Brian smiling in Mexico. My goodness. If I don't want to say it out loud, hold on. But I'm going to read some of these comments here in just a moment too, because I'm enjoying reading your guys' comments. Okay. So let's see. Did I go over? Oh, I went over. It's going to be weirdly structured here. Here, I'll just do this. If the notebook. Okay, cool. All right. So this is kind of poorly worded. But I want everyone who's in here to vote on this. Did it not go up? It may just be taking a second. There it is. Yeah. If the notebook comes out explaining what happened by Brian, will you at that point believe that he actually died? Did I say dies? Dies. Whoops. Meant to say died. Sorry about that. But yeah, if the notebook comes out. So hypothetically speaking, a week from now, they're able to fish out some, or not fish out some data, like decipher the notebook if it was soaked in water, or whether it was soaked or dry, if it was weathered enough to where they had to kind of figure out what it said. If they were able to figure out that it showed, some sort of a note, some sort of an explanation from Brian, signed by Brian, specifically saying what happened with this case that could kind of put some of our questions to rest. Would you think that he actually died? Because I know there's a lot of people that do not think it's Brian. So, okay, it looks like it went through, and it looks like 275 people voted. And yes, okay, so that, as of right now, the majority of the people in this stream say, yeah, that they at that point would believe that Brian is actually dead. Okay, so local law enforcement's blah, 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 Keystone Cops. I don't know what that means. I want to see authentic extracts with my own eyes. Oh, right. Well, I can assure you, you're probably not going to see anything with your own eyes. I don't think they're going to give out that much information. But who knows what's going to come out. I want to say yes, but no, because not enough evidence as of yet. Anyway, I'll believe forensic evidence. Yeah, I think obviously the forensic evidence has to become more definitive as well. I don't think even if this note came out, like, right, if the poll was true and the notebook had some sort of explanation, people aren't going to be fully satisfied if the forensic evidence if it's not more definitive, if they don't, there was a whole thing on DNA as well. I don't know the whole difference between the DNA and them being able to still identify that it was Brian or not, but yeah, I think more stuff's going to have to come out for sure. Yeah, Katrina, sorry. The parents are back home reportedly about 7-8 hours ago. I saw that Brian Enton did tweet that shortly before or after he got to Moab. So it sounds like the parents are back in Northport. It's interesting. I'm going to maybe go check and see if there's any live footage from the house. So let's, I don't know if the news, organizations are surrounding the house anymore or if they're giving them that space. But it's worth looking into. Man, it's crazy to think how long ago people were posted up outside the Laundrie home. I'm just seeing videos from like 3.5 weeks ago. This has gone on for so long. For sure. Forensic evidence shows Brian is dead. Oh, yes. And thanks again to Alicia, one of the mods. She made a Google form. So that's the best way to reach me in terms of future video ideas. This case specifically, if you have a question, if you want me to dive deep into a specific area of this case, she linked the Google form. And so you can submit your thoughts in there, and I will be visiting that Google form each night throughout the day whenever I get to it, and I might see your comment or question, and then it may be a cool idea for a video. I mean, so many people sent me the video from the footage, the helicopter footage that I posted earlier today that showed that the dog was not even a half mile away from where they ended up finding Brian, the cadaver dog. So many videos that people send me end up being useful and definitely something to dive into more. So send me all your guys' ideas. I'm going to go into this and see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything at the Laundrie home, so I don't think the Laundries, I don't think anyone's there live right now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about them. I saw the tweet about them returning home, but just so you know, when someone references the Keystone Cops, they're referring to a very old 1920 silent movie era group of cops that bungle everything they came into contact with. Oh, okay. That's good. Thank you for that, Eddie. I wasn't catching the reference there. Where was the white bag found, says Paula. So let me show you where... you know what? I don't know where the white bag was found. And that, you know what? I'm going to pull this up. Brian's parents when they ended up, let me find this, when Brian's parents find the bag, or at the very least when they're talking to that guy and they have the bag, they don't look like they're near where his body ended up getting found. Hold on. So let's play this video real quick, and then we can dive into the map again. So I'm going to end this poll. It ended up at almost 500 votes, 55% of people saying that, yeah, they would definitely believe that he's actually deceased if they found a note in the notebook stating that. All right, cool. So let's zoom out here. So this video is interesting. So this is actually up on that road that we looked at earlier. So let me move this over and then put this back up here and go into the Google map. So this is Brian's parents on this road that we talked about earlier. I think they're close to the entrance of the reserve. I would imagine they're literally right off of the trail. If I had to guess, I would put them at just right here. This is when they're holding the white bag. So this is after they found the bag. But this guy, I don't know if he's part of local law enforcement or the FBI or what, but he was telling them at that point that he thinks that they should go home because... yeah, he just said, I don't know his exact words. I just had a brain fart. He said something along the lines of, "We think we found something," and I think he was referring to the remains. But this isn't close to where the remains happened or were found. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. There was a guy that walked by with a dog. I don't think they show that in this video, but you can clearly see, and yeah, you can kind of see it up here, guys. I'm gonna go full screen. This is the area where that the power line is. I can't show the whole thing. There you go. You can kind of see it up there in the top left. So they're definitely on this road somewhere. And like I said, they found him. They're right over here somewhere, and they found him way up here. So let me try to find the video of them actually finding the bag, because that's super weird to see them just find it. Just by themselves. All right, let's cut to this. Let's see. The chat is much slower. That slowing down the chat definitely helped. Let's see. People like to be bossy out here. I don't think anyone's being bossy. People are just chilling. People are just watching the chat, or people watching the stream, engaged in the chat. Aaron, you're getting a lot better with the live chats. Thanks, Chris. I don't feel like it. I am just trying to take things a little bit. I'm trying to take things a little bit slower. So. Not that there's a ton to talk about tonight. I kind of just wanted to hop on and go through kind of what I found in my video, and then just kind of go through some of this other stuff. But it's a much slower stream, but I appreciate that. Let me find the video here. This is the full video. Hey, I'm a newbie here. Hey, Don. I'm a newbie too. Nice. As I said that, I'm reading the mod's comment. I am not giving myself much credit. Okay. This is where we can definitely tell that this guy that's walking the dog, he's on this trail with the big poles. So as you can see in my the left side of my screen, and I've gone through this so many times, but we always reference this part of the trail, this part of the reserve. At this angle with the camera, you can see so many different poles. It's the depth perception. I mean, you see so many poles if I go through along this entire thing. Oh goodness, this whole thing's moved up. My bad. But yeah, I would pinpoint his parents to be somewhere at the start of the trail, which would be somewhere right around here. And then this guy's walking towards them with his dog, so he's much further down on the left. And then, yeah, they end up, like I said, that's that whole video. You get a better idea of the power lines right there. So yeah, this is far from where they found Brian. I mean, not far, but this isn't like, they're not right on top of it. I mean, we've done this measurement so many times. I'll do it again. They're just like 2,500, 2,200 feet away, somewhere in that ballpark from where Brian ended up being found. So I don't know where they actually found the bag. So I'm not answering anybody's question when they ask that. Let's look for where they found the bag. And if I might try to, let's find this. I don't know why it's so hard to find that specific video. It's like the video disappeared from the internet. Tim, Marge, and Liz, thanks for following me on Twitter. If anyone has donated, let me give a shout out to anyone who may have donated on Venmo or PayPal. If that's the case, I really, really appreciate it. Like it says in the description, never expected, but always appreciated. Teresa, thank you for the Venmo. I appreciate it, Teresa. And that looks like all on the Venmo, and I don't think I see any PayPal notifications. So thank you on that. I believe I have channel super chats now. My channel just got monetized, so I believe that feature is going to be unlocked soon if it's not already. Yes, I do have Instagram. It is right here. Well, actually, this is my Twitter. My Instagram is something similar, though. I don't really push out my Instagram. It's obviously public. You can go follow me there. But I don't really promote the Instagram a whole lot. But yeah, you can find me if you look hard enough, even though it's not hard. But anyways, I'm on my Twitter right now. I was going back into my comments or my notifications to look for this video of Chris and Roberta. But yeah, someone said, wasn't the bag next to the remains? Well, that's what I thought. I thought that someone said that the bag was very close to the remains. So clearly this video of them talking to this, whoever this guy is, they're, relatively far from the remains during the filming of this. Not incredibly far, but definitely not like 20 feet away. You know what I mean? The remains aren't over in these trees. They're definitely a bit further. So no, I don't know how far. All right, let's find this video of them walking in. And I'm sure, real quick, most of you have seen this. Just a quick recap of the water bottle. This is the water bottle that was apparently found in the reserve a few days ago, couple days ago, excuse me. And that same water bottle was found, or was seen. My goodness, why can't I zoom in on it? It's the same water bottle right here. It's so small. Apologies. But then she's wearing it right here as well. So, bit odd that was found in the reserve. It makes me wonder, did someone plant that water bottle, or did they completely overlook it and open the reserve back up to the public only to have people on TikTok find a water bottle? This case is crazy. Totally off topic, but you look like a young Eric Clapton. Let me remind myself and I'm going off topic here, but I have to know what Eric Clapton. I'm going to look up young Eric Clapton because, oh, wow. I'm sorry. We're off topic here, guys, but I don't disagree with you. Thank you. That's not a bad look. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to go into the video of them finding it. I may end up doing it. If someone could link it to me on Twitter, we could go through when the parents found the bag. I can't seem to find it anywhere. I don't know why it's just removed from the internet, but they're not close to it in this video. And that's what's weird to me, is that they ended up further away from the body, and then this guy was telling them to go home. So I don't know. I keep losing chat on 3 different devices. So yeah, I'm getting a weird thing with the chat as well, where it's disconnecting from my side of here on my end. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Yeah, so we'll see if it works. But yeah, it's gone away from me for a second. We're having some technical issues, so I can't see your chat. Oh, there it goes. It's back. Aaron, can you sing? I can sing in the shower by myself, like many people. I can't sing well, and I'm not just saying that. I really can't sing. Gigi, Paula, Crystal, thanks for the follow on Twitter. Let's try to get back on some sort of a topic, on some sort of a topic. And then we can end this. We don't have to stay on super long, but I want to look for something else. It was kind of fun to go through and find where Brian's truck was, but I kind of want to look into some other stuff as well. So also, while I'm here, and I can mention this because it's worth mentioning, this was tweeted to me today by Find Missing Cyan, and someone is missing. And I think that this is probably a real post. Apparently, this person has gone missing in the Grand Teton National Park. Figured I would blow it up on the big screen on the chat, just because everything helps, right? You never know if anyone has anything to do or knows anything about this case. And so apparently this guy's name is Cyan McLaughlin. Cyan, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's 27. He's been missing at the Grand Teton National Park since embarking on a solo hike June 8th, 2021. So we're talking several months, over 3 months. And so this is pretty rough to think that this is all way prior to when this whole Gabby situation started. And that seems like it's been going on forever. So in the universe of, or in the timeline of missing persons, this is pretty rough. But apparently he's wearing a red Apple Watch. He has definitive tattoos on his wrists, on his forearm. So just thought I would put this up here if anyone has any information. So very unfortunate there. Let's see. Yeah, good grief. Not a good time to hike in the Grand Tetons. Definitely not. So anyways, I'm going to quickly go over this run of show that I've kind of made and see what am I missing? What have I not gone over? I know there's definitely something that I'm missing. Let's see. Redirect notice. Okay. So this has to do with the remains of Brian Laundrie. Let's go ahead and play this.
With the Brian Laundrie case, but yeah, a big question right now is who has the remains.
If you give me literally 3...
I can't stand that guy's ads on YouTube. Apologies. Skipping that ad.
Family, Stephen Bertolino, had said that the remains were with a anthropologist, but now there's some confusion about that. The Northport PD put out a statement earlier on Twitter, and they said that it was from the medical examiner's office because the medical examiner I guess due to some online chatter, was getting contacted by media all across the country, and they wanted to set the record straight by this regarding the DNA analysis done on Brian Laundrie's remains. And the medical examiner said the remains found on October 20th, they were confirmed to be Brian Laundrie's by comparing the remains to known dental records of Brian Laundrie.
So this is,
and the medical examiner said that no DNA analysis has yet been performed. So it sounds like
that's where I think a lot of people are like, well, what's the difference if, I mean, obviously they matched dental records. I'm unfamiliar with how all of that works. You would think that there would be it'd be pretty easy to do a DNA test based on that. I don't know anything though. How do you, I don't know. That's why it's with an anthropologist that knows what they're doing, and they have bones. So they should be able to figure this out because it is a skull, partial remains of a skull, and they should be able to identify Brian. This is why, this is why this case is just going to have more stuff coming out day in and day out. Mel just posted an update. Let's see what Mel said. Did he post an update on Twitter, on YouTube? I'm going to go to Mel's Twitter real quick. I don't see anything on his YouTube. I'm curious. Looks like Mel tweeted Brian Enton's photo from earlier today, that they are in Moab. So that's what I talked about earlier. That's really cool that they made it there. I'm excited to see what they do. It looks like they are going to be covering. Someone says, are you covering the double homicide there or just Gabby and Brian? And it looks like they're covering both. So that's another crazy thing about this. You have the couple that was killed around the same time, shortly after August 12th, in the Moab area near where the wedding happened, and that's still just a mystery. There's so much around that is unanswered, and I know a lot of people think that Brian is connected to the Moab cases, or at least in the early parts of the search for Brian. I know a lot of people were thinking he might be connected. And I'm curious, I know that goes down many, many rabbit holes. We have to put our tinfoil hats on for that kind of a theory. But I'm going to ask you guys, because we're getting a lot of chats going. Do you guys think Brian is connected to the Moab double murders? So let me know what you guys think. Also, if the 1,500 people that are here right now all could just quickly hit the like button, we would be at 1,500 likes. Well, we would be past that unless some of you already here have hit the like button. But we can get to 1,500 likes in a snap of a finger because there's 1,500 people here. That would be amazing. Let's get that up to 1,500. It'll push the channel out into the universe, the YouTube space, the YouTube algorithm world, and then more people can see the stream, stop by, say hey. So let's see. It's pretty okay. So 159 votes saying no, primarily saying no, that they don't think that Brian is connected to the Moab double murders. The thing about it is the timeline is a little off, I think. The only thing about it is the day that she was pulled over on the 12th, the fact that the officer says that a couple of people called in from the Moonflower, that may have gotten Brian upset. And that's what a lot of people think, is that Brian thought that it was the two people that they had met, which was Kylan and Crystal, who ended up being the two people that got killed. The couple that I think they were newly married as well, Kylan and Crystal. So thanks for getting the channel or the stream to 1,500 likes. Oh my gosh, you guys rock. Anyway, so if indeed Brian thought about it a bit more and thought, who called us in? Because it ended up being a gentleman across the street, I think, that called in the domestic dispute or whatever, however they called it, right? Whatever they called it, when they ended up getting pulled over in Moab. If Brian was thinking, and this is where I think so many people think it's connected, that it was potentially Kylan and Crystal, they were probably, I think they were at the Moonflower for several hours. You know, they were also van lifers, so they likely brushed shoulders, and talked about van life, talked about, you know, their lives, whatever. If Brian even had any thought as to it being them that called him in, then that's where people are thinking it could have been him. So I'm not sure. But, and also Brian stayed, I believe, in the hotel that night, and Gabby took the van. And the hotel that Brian stayed at was really, really close to the Moonflower. And so if he just went back to that hotel and then waited for them to get off work and follow them back to their campsite, look, just speculating here. I have no idea. A mentally frustrated, middle-aged, sick guy is connected, not Brian Laundrie. So you may know more about the case than many, if you know. Mull, there's a serial killer on the loose, and who knows if he actually killed Gabby. So you think it's potentially a serial killer? How weird. No, I'm not even going to go down that road. Susan, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Susan, for watching. A lot of people are saying, I don't think Brian's a serial killer. You know, I probably don't think he is either. But you can't rule anything out with this case. I know JB from WFLA said several weeks ago, expect the unexpected with this case. So case closed if I know that the teeth were intact with the jaw. Oh, that's a good point. In case they just, had some teeth near the whatever bone that could have been. A lot of people think he may have just pulled a few teeth out and continued his run. Grizzly did a great bit on the Teton 9 missing. Oh, cool. I really need to go see a lot of Grizzly's videos, because I know she sent a few people over to my stream, which is really nice, and she does a lot of the similar stuff with the maps. So I'll definitely have to go check out some of her videos. So let's see. Okay, it looks like we have some videos from today. Thanks for sending this, Lulu, from Channel 8. I don't know which Channel 8 this is, but this is the Laundrie's coming back home today. There's a guy just over... Oh. Was that Brian, you guys? That could have been Brian. Did you see that? It looks like Brian right here. I'm just kidding. It's definitely not Brian. The police might have gotten that mix up though. Okay, so that's it. I mean, much like every other time they come home, they don't talk. They go straight inside. What do you think they do inside? What do you think they're doing? Obviously, look, they're grieving clearly. If this is true, which it likely is, that this is Brian, like, we have to come to terms with that, you guys. I know that a lot of you are not dead set on him being found. If it's true, they're obviously grieving, probably, but they just seem so, like, the fact that they didn't say anything throughout all of this, just it rubs me the wrong way. For sure. I came over from Grizzly. She does map time too, but definitely not like your map time. Oh, she just does it Grizzly style. She just does it her way. I'm sure it's great. I tuned into one of her map times. I just didn't see the whole video. At first, they reported a gun was found with the backpack and waterproof sack. I didn't see that. I don't know who reported that. I didn't hear that. They're not talking inside too. Can you imagine? They just go inside and they don't say a word to each other. They deserve to grieve. Wow. No DNA. He is alive. Why is their garage always closed? Well, I would imagine to keep photographers from TikTokers from running in. I'm sure those TikTokers and Twitter people making videos all over the reserve, they'd probably just run into their garage. So they probably are keeping it closed because of that. Let's see. Google Christopher Laundrie finding dry bag and then go to video tab. That video is there. Why did I not see that earlier? Thanks. I mean, Google video or Christopher Laundrie finding dry bag. If we can go to the videos. Oh, there's even little images from this video. Okay, I guess it is right here. Yeah, thank you. It's such bad quality, this video right here, but we're going to watch through it. This is, so you can see Roberta just kind of on this little area, and there's just not enough clues to be able to identify where this is happening. Eddie says, cutie, hello. Hello, Eddie. I read that wrong at first. Okay. I like your profile picture, Eddie. This is Chris. Now, this just seems... Look, I wish we had the 45 seconds leading up to this moment. This seems so odd that he's just going straight into this little area. So it's so specific. Like, what's she doing? What's she looking around for? Does he... Like, who's filming this? Can we not get confirmation of all the different things coming out of this? Like, where did this footage come from? Why'd this guy stop? And why is he so far away? Is he like... I don't know. Was it Paul who gave me the link? Is that who it was that gave me the link? Thank you. And then this is odd. There's no one around them. They're chatting. I don't know what they're determining. Like, should we give this to someone? What's going on here? Seems like she is waiting for him. Whoops. Yeah, I'm not sure. TMZ says somebody. No, I don't think it was TMZ, but who knows? Okay, I'm going to go back to my mentions here on Twitter. Oh, yes, Paul. Paul on Twitter sent that as well. And Lulu, thank you, Paul and Lulu, for sending that. A bunch of people sent me the video. Paula, Paul, and Lulu. Thank you all. This one I think is a little bit higher quality too. Not that we need to go through everything again, but yeah, this is definitely... Oh, these are photos. Yeah, these are all photos. But yeah, what was she doing? It just seems odd that they broke off and she kind of went and stood over here. I really want to know. Fox Reporter was with them? Okay. I wish they would just give out the whole shot of them walking into the park. I don't know, guys. That's really kind of all I wanted to talk about today. I know that this stream has kind of been all over the place. At the beginning, it was a little bit more structured. We were going over kind of the key things that have happened in the last couple days. We're very clearly like sitting and waiting, and this definitely seems like it's boiling up and about to boil over with more information. I think the Laundries are eventually going to speak. I think that is going to happen, whether it's a week from now or a month from now. I think it'll happen relatively soon, because I think the attorney is going to make them, the lawyer, because I think he's going to be under a lot of fire as well, and they're probably calculating exactly what they want to say and how they need to say it. It's clear right now that they're figuring out Brian's situation first. Hopefully in the meantime, more information comes out about Gabby. It would be incredible if they determined whether or not Brian was the main, if they can determine that he did in fact kill her. So if any of that information comes out in the next couple days, this case is just going to boil over again, and we're going to have so many more things to talk about. TX guy says, no, stay and talk to us. No, I'll stick around for a few minutes. We've been streaming for, let me see how long. Just over an hour. So just over an hour. I'm gonna continue for a little bit longer here. We've been streaming 2 hours. This is 9:07. Wow. That happened very quickly. I am curious. I'm going to send off a quick text very quickly. I'm going to stick around and chat for 10 more minutes. I'm going to get off at right around 9:20 my time. If there's just anything anyone wants to talk about, put it in the chat. If there's any videos you guys want me to do in the future, let me know. I'll be reading these chats as they go by. But yeah, let me quickly fire off a text. Let's see what some people are saying. 2 hours. 2 hours. Yeah, I've been going for 2 hours. It's wild to think that it's been that long. I didn't realize. I'm gonna put your guys' chat on the screen so you guys can see your names go by. We'll read through some of these questions before I get off. I don't know if you guys are able to even read that. Is it can we make it bigger? We can do this and we can make it full screen. All right, let's go through some of these. My bladder ain't gonna make it much longer. Scott, go to the restroom, man. What's this channel about, Aaron? The channel is about the Gabby Petito case right now. Oh, okay. So let me. So I just got confirmation that the super chat does not show up right now. So I have to enable that for future streams. So I was curious about that because my monetization got kicked on. But anyways, Eddie, you asked about the channel. I made a video recently mapping out some Gabby Petito, some information around the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie case. And so right now, that's kind of what my channel's about. And we're just kind of diving into to what potentially happened. We're trying to go deep into, mapping out the timeline and trying to use satellite imagery to kind of confirm or deny the speculation that we might have. And so that's kind of what the channel's about. Yeah. Let's see. Hi, says Anna. Hi, Anna. Are you and Mel going to fly drones together? Oh, did Mel mention the drones? He just got a new GoPro. I have a drone. I may fly it with him at some point for sure. We got to figure out what we're gonna do. We're gonna collab for sure at some point. Oh no, my complete insanity all blown up on the big screen. Yeah, everyone's on the big screen now. Everyone's taking the full screen. It's going by nice and slow. We can all read it. Thank you, Jenny. Search and see if it's true they found another body today 3 miles from where Gabby's body was found. I will search that up real quick on the other screen. So Grand Teton National Park. If I just hit that and then go news. Yeah, so I'm going to go over the chat here real quick, but it looks like body of missing 26-year-old Texas man found at Grand Teton National Park 1 day ago. Rescuers have located and recovered the body of 26-year-old Texas man in Wyoming Grand Teton National Park after he was reported missing on Sunday. Okay, so one thing about this, obviously it's a tragic scenario. If we look up just every national park in the U.S., you're gonna see stories like this where people go missing, people end up dying. I was just out near Phoenix, Arizona, a couple of months ago, and we were hiking this thing called Camelback Mountain, and the day before we hiked it, someone had died. And we were like, whoa, what happened? And clearly, I don't know what happened specifically, but clearly accidents happen. People bite off more than they can chew sometimes on some of these hikes, some of these big national parks and forests. And so this kind of stuff happens. I'm not saying that this guy isn't connected in some weird way to potentially a crime or, that there might have been foul play involved. I'm not ruling that out. I don't know anything about this story. But things like this happen, and it's sad. I mean, let me just Google on the other screen another national park, or I'll just say Zion National Park. This is a national park in Utah, I think South Utah. So let me just hit news on that and just see that they're okay. Cool. No deaths at Zion. They're seeing an increase in tourism and record-breaking visitation. So I'm sure there's going to be some accidents soon. But that just goes to show that kind of stuff happens. But that's interesting. And thanks for mentioning that. All right. So we're almost done, guys. I'm going to read for, let's see, I said about 9:20, so maybe 5 more minutes. Awesome job. Good luck with everything. First time watching you, and I love how calm you are. Kind of relaxing. Thank you, Eddie. Good job on the mapping. Thank you. I'm a big-time Zodiac Crimes follower. Nice. Lisa is talking about the Instagram stuff. Yeah, some of the Instagram stuff is very suspicious to me too, says Alicia. Personal opinion, though. But no, yeah, we could go into the Instagram stuff, and I think maybe sometime it would be cool to go in and kind of map out their trip. I talked about this in a previous stream, but maybe we take an Instagram photo and we find exactly where they were at and kind of map that out, and then go to the next photo and see how much time passed between those two photos, and then the distance on the map in which how far they traveled. One of the places they went to, I've actually been to, and it was the Monument Rocks in Kansas. When I saw that they had been there, I was like, oh, I've been there several times. So it's kind of crazy that they were there just, that was one of the first stops. They were there on 4th of July. So, but yeah, let's see. No one's talking about the Appalachian Trail. That's for sure. Oh, the Fox reporter was with them and was asked to stay 25 feet back. That's interesting. That is interesting. Cool. So I'm going to do one last poll. Maybe potentially on the next stream. And once again, I've kind of probably worded this not the best, but to go along with this poll, do you want me to map out their Instagram photos on stream? So like I said, going from photo to photo, and then mapping out the distance between each location on each photo. And we could kind of do that for every, if we go to their Instagram, we could do that for every photo from the beginning of their trip. I think that could be interesting, just to see, obviously they weren't teleporting around. They had sometimes a day of travel in between each of these places by van. But I think that could be interesting. So let me know what you guys think. Obviously, if there's breaking news in this case over the next, several days that take up more of people's interest, I guess I should say. We'll obviously talk about that stuff. But let me know. 300 million people visit Grand Teton every year. Unfortunately, the odds are that some die for a variety of reasons. Happens, sadly, in all parks. Exactly, Shelley. It's unfortunate, but it definitely happens. Except some of the photos are not current. They're definitely not current now because they're all in the past, but they were all, some of them may have been posted from not their trip, if that makes sense. But we'll go through all of the ones that we know are from the trip. I believe the YouTuber Flight Life has done something similar. Oh, cool. I might have to check that out. Okay, the last thing. Someone asked about the figure behind me. Since I'm about to hop off, I'll show you guys the figure. Okay. It's a lizard. It's a freaking lizard. Izzard the lizard. Eddie Izzard the lizard. That's his name. We live in Florida right now, and one of the craziest things about living in Florida is seeing these things just all over, just outside our apartment. And so we got one of these when we went to the Keys last time. Aaron, what happened to the drone flight you told us? Are you talking about the drone flight that I was going to do in the reserve? Because I'm still potentially going to go there at some point and fly around and kind of show the area. I just don't know if it'll end up being super captivating because we can get so many of those visuals just from the maps. But people are interested to see kind of what it looks like now and really how dry it is. So the drone would definitely show exactly what it looks like right now. So if that's what you're referring to, potentially I will definitely go. Lizard mascot, yeah. Okay, guys, it's almost 9:20. I said I'm gonna probably get off. So once again, to remind everyone in the chat, down in the description of this video, there's a form. You can go to that form. You have to have a Gmail to go to that form and submit questions using it. If there's any suggested video ideas you might have, if there's any suggested topics as it relates to the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie case, you can leave those in that form. Thank you to the mod who created that, Alicia. She created that, and that's just a great way for you guys to be able to contact me directly. Of course, my Twitter is also available, and you guys can reach me down there. It is at Aaron Mull Films. And so, yeah, that's kind of it on this stream. I know it's not the most informative. There's not a lot of new information, but at the beginning of the stream, if you missed it, we did go over the fact that the cadaver dogs were so close to the body. And if you haven't seen that video, it is also linked below. So check that new video out. It's very, very interesting. And for that was the main reason I wanted to stream, was just to go over that, because if anything, that's like, I really, really am glad that I made that video. I'm very excited about it. So anyways, I'm going to give some shout outs to everyone: Ada, Lori, Jerry Ann, Angela, Mary, Gina, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. Thanks to Juice from the Box and Alicia for modding and helping out with the chat. I really, really appreciate it. And definitely on the way out, hit the like button if you enjoyed the stream even a little bit, and maybe hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to not only be streaming here, but posting standalone videos. So hit that on the way out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.